It's November 10th, 2020. I got 10 minutes to talk to you guys about how it feels in America right now, 1 week after the election, and Donald Trump still has not conceded and called Joe Biden to congratulate him, even though many other Republicans have called Joe Biden to congratulate him, like Mitt Romney, and many other world leaders have called Joe Biden to congratulate him, such as Trudeau from Canada and Erdogan from Turkey. So there's a lot of support for Joe Biden on the international stage. They don't have any say in who becomes our president. We do, but yeah, I don't see Trump ever conceding. He's basically a baby throwing toys out of the stroller right now, and I've seen the dumpster fire of conspiracy theories that is Parler right now. Their biggest star being Sargon of Akkad, at Sargon on Parler. And any grasping of straws that the president might be doing right now to try to hold on to power, they amplify, especially Sargon. And it's just, I get this certain sort of schadenfreude, this pleasure watching them in this moment, because the hell that they create for themselves really is their denial. Their denial of reality, right? So, yeah, it's an amazing thing to watch, but I will say this, apart from pretty much every other progressive that I know, I actually do not want Trump to just call off his legal disputes. I want every one of them to be addressed by either a state Supreme Court or the Supreme Court. Even if they say, we're not going to see that because it's just frivolous, I want every one of them to have an answer. Because I'm old enough to remember the 2000 election, Bush v. Gore, when Gore conceded, and I wanted a more firm answer. I wanted every legal avenue to be addressed there, because he had the popular vote. Now, the U.S. does not go by popular vote. They go by electoral college. But I really wanted to see him push harder, because having the popular vote and losing the electoral college because of upwards of 500 votes in Florida was just devastating to a lot of people. And rather than see every bit of legal argument he could have made, he said that, for the good of the nation, we needed a peaceful transfer of power, and he's going to respect the office, right? And being on the other side of this from, 20 years ago, I was that person that was like, no, don't give in. Now, I recognize that there are Trump supporters who don't want him to give up until he has exhausted every last avenue to try to stay in power. Every legal argument needs to be made and addressed. But thankfully, along with the Electoral College, we also have a timeline here in America. Now, the timeline is, on December 8th, we have this thing called the Safe Harbor deadline. And by my understanding of that is, it is if there was any shenanigans that were done during the electoral process within a state, that is the date that the governor of that state has to send notice to, all people involved that, hey, there was a contested result here, and we had a different way of solving it, and so we've solved it this way. And if they don't do that by December 8th, then they've missed a deadline for that. And then on December 14th, the electors, they will vote in their state according to, how the procedures have been written. And if the governor, on the 8th, before that, didn't say, no, hey, electors, you have to vote this way because we fixed the problems with the election and all that meddling, if the governor didn't tell them, hey, you need to stop what you're doing 1 week earlier, then on the 14th, they're going to vote as the people decided, which, in Pennsylvania's case, it's going for Biden. In Georgia's case, it's going for Biden. In Arizona and Nevada, it's going for Biden. In Michigan, in Wisconsin, it's going for Biden, right? Now, Trump's going to have lawsuits in all of those states, and in Texas, and in Florida, just, because he's wanting to have more lawsuits that will decide things that really don't matter at this point to his presidency, because nobody's trying to fight him over those states. Those are conceded already to Trump as far as the Electoral College is concerned. But, on January 6th, then we have the joint session of Congress, right? In that, if somebody's state gets their electors' votes spoken by the vice president, who is then, the chair of this joint session, right? So if somebody's votes are spoken, and then two people, one in the House of Representatives and one in the Senate, decide, hey, we think that state's votes were fucked with, like they're phony, they're manipulated. So what happens then? If they have one from the House and one from the Senate, and I know there are QAnon supporters who were, in the House right now, so they might have the House. If they have a senator who stands with that QAnon person, what happens then? It's like a clear timeline. They each get to, the House and Senate get to have a meeting, right? And it lasts like 2 hours. And it's like the timeline for this is fucking chop, chop, chop. There's no filibustering this, right? When those two houses come back from their meeting, they vote. They all vote, up or down. Are we going to keep the results from that state, right? So, imagine this. Imagine a senator and a representative from the House of Representatives truly believes that Pennsylvania was too fucked with, right? That we can't trust Pennsylvania's outcome. And they put it to a vote, right? This will not give Pennsylvania to Trump, even if they win. If they won, all it could do is remove Pennsylvania from the picture. All of the votes in Pennsylvania would be disqualified. The Electoral College voters in Pennsylvania disqualified. And it would still leave Joe Biden with more than 270 votes. Right? Now, maybe you're thinking, well, there's more states than that. They could challenge Georgia too, right? So, and I'm assuming at this point that Georgia's going for Biden. I know that it's still not over a week later, but how many states do you think this joint session is willing to disenfranchise in this process? Because my guess is 0. I'm guessing, when the roll call of these votes happens, that, yeah, they might actually get a senator to pair up with a Q-tard in the House of Representatives. And they might actually contest one state. And they'll have to, adjourn for 2 hours, come back, and then vote. And then that state will be kept. Because all of the rest of the states are going to be looking at this like, oh, holy shit, you guys are really wanting to disenfranchise a whole state because you absolutely believe that widespread voter fraud has been happening. But even saying all that, if it comes down to that, and if they truly feel like that's what they've got to do to, protect the country, if they truly believe that there's been voter fraud in Pennsylvania and they want to challenge Pennsylvania's votes at the roll call, I want them to do it. I want the whole joint session to adjourn, come back, vote. I'm pretty sure they're going to keep Pennsylvania's votes, but, at least there is a spelled out timeline. It must happen on January 6th. The meeting starts at 1 p.m. And if anyone's state is called into question by a member of the Senate and the House, both, then they break up for like 2 hours, they come back, and then they have to vote on whether or not to keep that state. There's no filibustering. There's nothing. It happens on January 6th. Right? And then, once they have their results, on January 20th, we have the presidential inauguration. And that's it. I keep seeing conspiracy theories that have already been debunked happening, like on Parler, especially from Sargon of Akkad's account. He's putting out conspiracy theories that people have already debunked, but they just they seem to follow that whole if you keep saying it, it'll become true. If we keep echoing each other, it'll become true. It's not the way the world works, unfortunately for him. Yeah. Just in the last 24 hours, he posted that Real Clear Politics, and some people have even said CNN, have taken back Arizona out of Joe Biden's count for states. Those two places never called Arizona for Joe Biden. They're making up a false narrative of how them giving it to Biden, and then it's now getting flipped back. That never happened, right? Driven Progressive, another YouTuber, already debunked this an entire day before Sargon of Akkad puts it out on Parler as fact, when it's not. Yeah. It takes more than just shaming and debunking some people. They are very stubbornly clinging to any straw they can grasp to keep Trump in power. And I'll just say that all of their shit-talking and calling SJWs snowflakes and libtards and all that for 4 fucking years while Trump was president. And then them deciding, holy shit, our guy is losing. Let's all leave before we have to be shamed off this platform. And they leave YouTube, and they leave Twitch, and Twitter, and Facebook, and they all go to Parler. That is the most safe space snowflake move that I have seen in all of Trump's time in office. Now they need their own safe space to be able to talk to each other, where, you know, there hasn't been a whole bunch of progressive people following them onto that platform. And I really wonder, like, how long is it going to take before the Play Store and the App Store for Apple just decide, you know what, that place doesn't police itself well enough like Twitter and Facebook do as far as this misinformation, and they're actually going to result in things like, you know, the Comet Ping Pong pizza place being shot up, you know, with all the radical conspiracy theories they have. They're just going to say, you know what, deplatformed. You guys don't get to be on our App Store anymore. I mean, it's happened before, you know. It's not rocket science. Wherever they go with this conspiracy theory crap, they're not welcome. That's all I got for today. I'm sure I'm going to have a lively comment section, and I will get to it. Probably it will be the next thing that I make a video about, is what you guys write in the comments section for this one. Because we're going to have a lengthy discussion down there. So, I'm ready if you're ready. I'm your Huckleberry.